Alright, friends, well, hello and welcome back to another episode of Ravenbrook Plays If My Heart Had Wings. So, we're gonna pick up where we left off and get to some story progressing. Quickly. There's no need to rush. I had just finished at the cash register at the convenience store, and then I went after Kotori, who had left first and had a convenience store bag on her lap. Then I hold on to the grip of the wheelchair. Let's go, Kotori. Hold on tight. All right, here we go. Following Kotori's command, I push the wheelchair forward at breakneck speed. Puff, 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 puff. Hey, are you okay? I'm okay. I'm completely fine. I push out my chest to try to show that I'm okay, but I can't hide the fact that I'm out of breath. My stamina's gotten worse. I've been pushing the wheelchair while running up until now, but I was reminded of how much my stamina had decreased. She couldn't help but notice, so Kotori took a sports drink out of the convenience store bag. Here you go, Aoi. Thanks. You're getting a bit carried away. Is your knee okay? Oh, she's concerned. Look at that. My knee? Yeah, no problem. I think. According to the doctor, I shouldn't have any difficulty with everyday life. The problem is whether or not this is above the normal level of everyday activity or not. I told you halfway that you could stop, but in the end, you ran all the way to school. Since this morning, I had been in high spirits and the effect hadn't worn off yet, for some reason. It's because our club activities were finally about to start. Today is Saturday, a day off, but we intentionally got up early and came to school. You went through all the effort to get better, so take care of yourself, okay? She is so sweet, look at that. Where's that tsundere we all know and love? You're right. As I speak, I move the bottle up to my mouth. I've been sweating a lot, so my body quickly absorbs the water. What's this about your knee? Uh-oh. Oh! Splutter. From out of nowhere, Ageha appeared right next to me. It's nothing, no big deal. Morning, Kotori. Morning, Ageha. Kotori seems a little embarrassed as Ageha speaks to her. You got here first? Nope, I saw you guys racing along at top speed and I followed you. Is that so? I didn't realize. That's the first time I'd seen someone running and pushing a wheelchair. Aoi, I'll go on ahead, okay? Kotori was being careful around Ageha and spoke like she was uncomfortable as she went on ahead. Rather than being annoyed, she seemed more embarrassed than anything. Wonder what that's about. I think Ageha understands that too, but... Aoi? What? Oh, nothing. Well then, I'm going on ahead now too. Oh, she looks annoyed. See you, Aoi. Seeming like she'd had enough of talking to me, Ageha also went on ahead. Hey, wait, Ageha! I chase after the two of them and we head to the garage. What's up? Amane was already inside the garage. Surprise, surprise. Amane was making a serious face in front of the drawing board. She's really concentrated and hasn't noticed us. For a moment I wasn't sure if I should call out to her, but if we don't say anything, how many hours would she be doing that for? Hi there, Amane. It's you guys. What's up, Amane? What's up? What's up? I love how this is what we landed on for the casual greeting. What's up? Ageha and Kotori copy the greeting that I use. From today, we'll do our best. Amane points at me and makes a troubled face. You there, what's your name? That's right, I'd never once told her my name. Whoa, this long, huh? Even though we'd met several times, even though she'd embraced us quite intimately, but whatever. Aoi Minase, 2nd grade, Class A. I give a very sharp self-introduction, and the others do likewise. Also from the 2nd grade, Class A, Ageha Himegi. Also from the 2nd grade, Class A, Kotori Habane. Aoi Ageha Kotori. Aoi Ageha Kotori. I need to do that too. Like, I'll meet people, and that's probably like something I really like is I'm actually really good at small talk. I'm an introvert. I don't like to like be social, but I do really like meeting people and like learning more about other people. But the name just goes right out of my head. Like, I could have the most wonderful introduction and just conversation with you, and I guarantee you, the end of the night, I've forgotten what your name is, and I'm super embarrassed, and we'll never speak again unless you tell me what your name is. So right there with you, Amane, we need to strategize on how to resolve that one. She confirms our faces and names in order. I'm from the 5th grade, class C, or was it D? Amane Mochizuki. She misses so many lessons, she doesn't even know which class she's in, it seems. Thanks for yesterday. Because of you guys, I can continue to stay here. We're somehow very grateful to hear these words of thanks from Amane. Is it really alright for us to join? She was unsure as to whether she would accept new members. Had she found the answer she was looking for then? Oh yeah, I welcome you all. Welcome to the Soaring Club. I don't know what she was worrying about or how she arrived at her answer, but it somehow seemed that there was no problem with us joining the club. Well then, let's do our best. She said that like she was just throwing it out there before returning to the drawing board. She stares at the diagram with a serious look on her face. Amane? Yes? What should we be doing? Great question. Oh, that's right. Make yourselves at home, have a cup of tea. There are some manga books on that shelf too. But what about the work? On that shelf was every volume of Slam Dunk. The covers were faded and it seemed like they'd seen many years of service. What are we alluding to exactly? I hope it's just casual manga reading. The two girls both make faces that say, this isn't what I thought it would be like. My face might have been the same. Isn't there anything for us to do? I told you, read some manga. No, not that. Something to do with the glider. Huh? We really want to get involved with the glider. Amane opened her eyes wide. Is that so? You guys are strange. I don't want to hear that from you. Yeah, seriously. Amane, could it be that we are in your way by joining the club? She didn't want anyone coming near this garage, did she? No, that's not true. It's just that I've been doing this by myself until now, so I don't know what you can do. When Amane was within one step of the national championship with the robot club, it seems she did most of that by herself. She's typical of the type of person who's no good with social situations. You're a fine one to talk. Got her there. Excuse me, can I ask a question? Ageha raised her hand. Go ahead. Specifically speaking, what are the activities that this club is involved in? That's a good place to start. Ageha asks a fundamental question. I feel like she has been asked a similar question before, but at that time was only asked for a summary. If we're actually going to take part in this club, we need her to tell us more specific information. Well, we make gliders and fly. That's it. I think everyone knows that already. Making or flying, which is the main objective? After building it, then you'd fly it. Isn't that what normally happens? But you're not aiming to enter competitions or anything, are you? That's right, I'm not. She answered bluntly and without even a shred of interest. So the main objective is to build it then? No, that's wrong. Flying above the clouds is the objective, right? Amane somehow lacks confidence when she nods. How far have you got with the glider? A few days ago, I finally finished assembling it and went for a test flight, but as Amane explains, she moves to inside the garage. The main wing snapped. In the corner of the garage were the broken wings. It looks like they weren't strong enough. Now I'm reviewing the designs, but... Looking at the twisted wings, Amane lets out a little groan. I've redone the strength calculations, but this time I can't find where the problem is. I don't know the reason, so I've got a problem. If Amane doesn't understand, there's no way we will. Well, okay, that seems a little defeatist. I thought to myself as Ageha got close to Amane and checked the broken parts of the main wings. Then, yep, this will snap, she stated simply. How do you know? See here? The thickness is uneven and it's distorted in places. Oh, so it is. The construction methods are too rough and the joints couldn't withstand the load and it cracked. Wow, not holding back, I see. Amane reels in shock. Is that what it was? And then, it's because I'm not so good with my hands. She becomes timid. You made this by hand, piece by piece? I didn't do it all myself, but the fuselage is handmade. This is handmade? Kotori and I were pretty surprised by this, but Ageha didn't seem to make much of a big deal about it. I see, it's rough. I see. It's rough. It's no good, she's totally depressed. Because of the parts that Aoi got, I was able to fix the malfunction in the instruments. If I can just get the main wings repaired, it can go on another test flight. Are you gonna do the wing repairs by hand too? Yeah, of course. Ageha takes a part of the wing that isn't snapped and checks it over, with a troubled look on her face. Wouldn't it be better to build the wings from scratch? Wow. If you don't, then other parts might snap too, you know. Oh. Sniff, sniff. Amane looks like she's gonna cry. Alright then, we'll help. This is fiber reinforced plastic, right? I've worked with this before. I might be able to do something about this. We should start immediately. That way we can fly it sooner, right? The motivation of the 3 new members has returned and now we feel excited about it. I really want to do that too, but unfortunately there are no materials. There are lots of parts that can be used for repairs. To make something of this size from scratch would require large amounts. How do you usually get things like that? Mail order. Amane goes to the mail order materials website on the laptop connected to the internet. To remake the main wings, we'd need about this much, said Amane as she entered a number. That's not a bad price, but there's no way we can afford that on the club budget. I don't know how much the budget is for the Soaring Club, but the price displayed on the mail order site's input page was no small amount. Well, that's no problem. Click. Amane completed the order. What? Is that okay, Amane? Yeah, that amount of money should be no problem at all. What do you mean, no problem? Could it be that when it comes to the club budget, the Soaring Club gets preferential treatment? I don't know if the student council will allow that. It'll take a little while for it to arrive, then the construction work can begin. Which meant that we don't have anything to do after all. Until then, what should we do? Read some manga books or something? With that order, the Soaring Club leader went back to staring at the design she was working on. Even if we say we've got nothing to do, it's not like there is nothing whatsoever for us to do. What? We were still beginners when it came to gliders, so we took some books from the shelf and started our own little study session. Oh, okay. Aerodynamics, glider construction, and so on. As for the basics on how aircraft fly, we were told that before by Amane. In terms of the various methods of creating what is known as lift, the more we found out, the more interesting it became. And then it was noon. That's tasty. That was the first intake of calories I've had in a while. Amane was already enjoying eating the bread and rice balls that Kotori and I bought at the convenience store this morning. Just for reference, I'd like to ask you, how long has it been since you last ate? 46 hours ago. That time, it was the school-made pork cutlet bowl. I had a big bowl. Would you like to eat this too? Out of pity, Kotori offered Amane her pickled plum rice ball. Oh, thanks. She has quite the appetite, doesn't she? Witnessing the Amane Mochizuki-style eating techniques for the first time, Ageha is, as expected, pretty freaked out. It could be because the image of the beautiful and mysterious senior student that Ageha had been holding onto was being completely destroyed. By the way, because we've had club activities from the morning, Ageha has brought a lunchbox. Are there any other parts that we need? I asked Amane once she had calmed down after her meal. Only one. What is it? I can't get one no matter what I do. The truth is, it's a big problem. From the way she said it, we all get into position to listen seriously to her story. What is it you need? A pilot! Shing! When Amane said this, she made a facial expression she would use if this were on TV, looking straight at the camera. Aren't you gonna fly it? You flew it the other day. I'm not very good though. Also, last time I almost failed when landing and damaged the tail. It's true, the tail has scratches on it. I don't have much confidence in my motor skills. Hang on. Could you come here for a second? I call Amane over to an open space. Please, try to do some repeated side jumps. Oh, okay. Amane tried some repeated side jumps like I asked. So cute, look at that! I love it! Haha, hup, ha! Amane, it's repeated side jumps, you know. Oh, I love these little chibi renderings. They're so cute. Yeah, I know. Whoa! It's supposed to be repeated side jumps, but each time the number of steps is different, and sometimes she turns her body. It should be just moving quickly from side to side, but it looks like some kind of terrible dancing. It's true. She's terrible. Without thinking, we all murmured in unison. It didn't seem that motor skills were that important for piloting a glider, but that level of clumsiness could make things pretty dangerous. Also, I have acrophobia. Well, you've really chosen the right path for yourself, haven't you? Huh? When I go to high places, I get scared and feel dizzy. Then why the hell is she making a glider? An excellent, very astute question. But I have the qualification. You only need one document. In other words, she's been trying really hard. Oh, that's enough of the repeated side jumps. I don't know, I think she needs to do a little more. I'm worn out. Amane wipes the sweat from her forehead. She is a beautiful girl, so at least she is able to do those kinds of movements well. Yes, yes, yes! Suddenly, Kotori raised her hand. I want to do it. I want to be the pilot. As Kotori vigorously volunteered, Amane made a troubled face. I'm sorry, but you can't do it. Why not? If I need to practice, I'll try really hard. I might not look like it, but I've got great motor skills. You can't push the rudder pedal though, can you? Rudder pedal? There are pedals in the cockpit. Oh, like a bike? Oh, like a bike! If you can't push them, you can't pilot it. Kotori moved back, dejected. Well, I'd rather not do it. I'm more interested in the making of it than flying. Ageha, who is looking inside the aircraft's cockpit, sounds like she's talking about someone else. That leaves one person. I want to do it. If it's motor skills we're talking about, I'm fairly confident. Alright, it's decided. Aoi, you will undergo training to become the pilot. Yes! And that is how I suddenly came to be the pilot. After club activities had finished, I returned to the dormitory. Come on, cheer up! What? I am cheerful. Ever since it was decided that I would be the pilot, Kotori had been feeling down like this. Just because you can't pilot it doesn't mean that you can't fly. That glider is a double-seater. There are two types of glider cockpits, single-seater and double-seater. The single-seater fits one person, while the double-seater fits... No, shit! Really? I'm so glad we decided to elaborate there. Once I'm able to fly, you're the first person I'm taking with me. It's annoying how it feels like you're looking down on me. Well, if I'm up in the air, I will be looking down on you, won't I? But I'll settle for that. Good, all right. Let's prepare for dinner. Hello, we're back. I push the wheelchair as we go into the entranceway. Welcome back, Aoi, Kotori-chan. Hello. Kanako, thank you so much for yesterday. No, I'm glad it went well. I wanted to soar to the heavens too, though. By the way, Kotori, she's here. Kotori-chan! Is that her sister? Whoosh! Ah! As we enter the dining hall with the force of the Saint Bernard from the other day, an unknown girl came flying out to hug Kotori. Sis! I'm sorry that I couldn't come back to see you. Kotori's older sister burst into tears as she held her and rubbed her cheeks against hers. Hold on, that hurts. Hibari, let me go. Okay, sniff. Realizing that she was suffocating her younger sister, she let go of Kotori. Who is she? She's my big sister. Kotori introduced us in a way that implied, I don't like doing introductions. Sis, this mean-looking boy is, well, he doesn't really look that mean, but he's violent and gives me karate chops. What an introduction. Yeah, hurry up with the introduction. He's our new dorm mother. Nice to meet you. I'm Aoi Minase, the current dorm mother. I bowed my head, and Kotori's sister stood up quickly and straightened out her messed up clothes. I apologize for the late introduction. I am Hibari Habane. I'm Kotori's older sister. She seems very proud to say that she is Kotori's older sister. I heard that there was a new dorm mother, so I thought I should meet you as soon as possible. But I've been away from Japan with my job for a while. This is nothing special, but please share this with everyone. She gave a deep bow and passed me something wrapped in the paper of a famous Japanese sweet shop. Thank you very much. I was surprised at first, but she seems like a perfectly sensible person. She's gentle and seems like a little different to her younger sister. What did you buy? Sweet bean jelly from Mifune. Also, there is some ice cream in the fridge. All right, as expected of my big sister Hibari. Kotori rushes straight to the fridge. You can eat that after dinner. It's fine, just one spoonful. No. Tisk. Mean as always. Kotori looks like she's having such a good time. I had no reason to worry. Oh, that's right, Kotori. While Kotori had the fridge open and was rummaging around inside, her sister went over to her. I was so happy to see you that I completely forgot. Are you serious about quitting school? Not so loud. The boarders are outside the dining hall. Why do you want to quit? Did something bad happen? If so, I'll speak to your teacher. I'm not gonna quit school anymore. Huh? I still haven't completely made up my mind, though. I'm gonna keep trying for a little while longer. I see. Hibari breathes a sigh of relief. Kotori, when you said you wanted to quit school while I was away, I kept worrying and worrying. I'm sorry for worrying you like that. No, that's okay. Oh yeah, she said just now that she was working away from Japan. Kanako said before that her sister hadn't been here for a while, but that was the reason why? Where did you go? On an overseas business trip. She's fluent in German, Spanish, and Swedish. I don't really get it, but that's amazing. I was against it, but the company ordered me to do it. She was only studying foreign languages as a hobby. If it meant that I couldn't see Kotori, I thought it might be better to quit the company. I wonder where Kotori gets it then. No, that would be going too far, sis. No, not really. Actually, I was supposed to have been coming back tomorrow, but I was so worried that I was at my wit's end and came back a day early. she said while clinging on to Kotori. So, what really happened? Tell me everything. It's fine now. It's no big deal. It was like the May blues that people usually get 1 month after the start of the school year had come 2 months late. Okay, yeah, sure. Tears well up. Hibari looks at me with tearful eyes. She was trying to say that if I knew anything, I should spill the beans. I think that everything's okay with Kotori. Today she went to do club activities even though we had a day off school. Club activities? We're in the soaring club, right, Kotori? Soaring club? What's that? Uh-oh, Kotori looks a little on edge. It's... Have you heard of gliders? Well, it's like an airplane. It's used to fly through the sky. The sky? No, that's not it, Hibari. I'm not gonna fly. Or rather, I can't fly. I was told just today that I couldn't do it. As Kotori desperately tries to cover it up, she glares at me to give me a signal. That's right, we don't just fly, we build gliders and so on. I don't really know why, but I follow her lead. Really? Yeah, so don't worry. Hibari looked like she'd accepted it for the time being and didn't pursue the issue any further. Kotori seemed relieved. It was like there was some reason why she shouldn't be doing club activities. Anyway, sniff sniff, something smells good. Since just now, a smell that stimulated my hunger had been drifting through the air. I've been making paella. I was taught how to make it while I was away. There's enough for everyone, so please enjoy. Oh, guess we don't have to do our dorm mother duties, huh? Hibari's home cooking was superb. Paella is Spanish-style cooked rice with shrimp and shellfish, and it was quite refined, so it went down really well with the boarders. Also, after the main course was dessert, which was sweet bean jelly from a famous Japanese sweet shop. It was perfect, and a little bit dry, honestly. Apparently, Hibari had been visiting Flying Fish Manor since a while back, and had been making food for Kotori and the other boarders. Since she was coming to help the disabled Kotori, she had been given special permission to come at any time by the owner-caretaker. Thanks to her, the level of satisfaction with tonight's dinner was exceptionally high. Yeah, tough act to follow, though. Ooh, I'm full. He seemed very familiar with Hibari. At the dinner table, Hibari was very open with not only her sister, but with all the other boarders. Yeah, you're right. Since Kotori is like that, she takes care of her as her big sister, doesn't she? I guess that when she says like that, she's not talking about her disability, she means her personality. As for souvenirs, she always buys some for everyone. She's got such a cute little sister, she can't help but want to take care of her. While we speak, Hibari pushes Kotori and her wheelchair out of the dining hall. Thank you for the meal, Hibari. It's okay, I'll clean everything up later, so you can just leave it there for now. Even though she had only just gotten back from an overseas business trip, she's got a lot of energy about her. Despite her pretty and petite appearance. No, I can do that. That's right, after having such a delicious meal, you should do some work. She says it like it was all her doing. Kotori must also be proud of her sister. Kotori, give me a hand later, okay? What? You ate that delicious food too, didn't you? Humph. For some reason, Kotori's reaction seems a little cuter than usual. It must be her sister's influence. Okay, before that, we're gonna take a bath together. Whoa, me too? And also, we'll be sleeping together tonight. Okay, if you insist. In separate beds. Huh? Why? Because it's really uncomfortable. Because it's really uncomfortable when you hug me when you're half asleep. I was looking forward to that, which is why I came back in such a hurry. Together with her sister, acting downhearted, Kotori headed to the bathroom. As I watched them leave like that, I remember what Kotori was desperately trying to cover up the fact she is in the soaring club just now. It must be because her family would worry if she were to do anything dangerous. It seemed very unnatural to me, and it played on my mind a little. Just because it's summer, you mustn't go to sleep with your stomach exposed. You'll catch a cold. Make sure you brush your teeth and send me a text once a day. No, 3 times a day. I've got it, okay? Aoi. Yes? Please take good care of Kotori. Sure, leave it to me. I thought I sounded a little arrogant, but I answered as the dorm mother and as Kotori's friend. See ya, Kotori. If anything happens, call me straight away. Worried about her sister until the end, Hibari got in the car and left. Today is Monday, the start of the week. It looks like she's going straight to work. She came here in her own car, and apparently her workplace and her house are about an hour away. Hibari stayed for 2 nights, so I'm worn out. She's a good sister, isn't she? Yes, I realize that. I just want her to know when to leave me by myself. Would Kotori be able to leave her sister alone? Okay then, shall we go to school now? Therefore, that is to say, this situation. In the 6th lesson of the day, I felt restless. When this finishes, school is done for the day. In other words, it's time for club activities. Yesterday was Sunday, and the clubs take a day off. I was told that my pilot training would start today, so I couldn't stop myself from feeling like I was itching to go. This is covered in the end of term test, so make good notes. Oh boy. The teacher's laid-back way of speaking actually makes me feel even more annoyed. While I stare at the clock on the wall at the back of the classroom, I wait for time to pass. It rang! The bell rang! Okay, that's all for today. The things we study today will be in the end of term test, so make sure you review it later. The teacher repeats the contents of the lesson before the class chairperson gives the order to stand, then bow. See ya, teach! Yeah, don't run in the hallway. As I go into the hallway, Kotori, whose seat is near the doorway, is already outside on standby. You took your time. I can't do much about that. My seat's next to the window. Oh, classic. Okay, let's go. Ah, hold on. Ageha's not here yet. We looked into the classroom where Ageha was surrounded by several girls talking to them about something. That's why this is. It looks like there was something in the lesson just now that they didn't understand, and they were asking her about it. They make a big deal about grades at this school. If you fail any subject, it's possible that you have to repeat the year. It's not like Ageha's grades are anything special, but for certain specialized subjects, she is usually near the top of the rankings. That's why just before the end of term exams, her friends go to her for help. Hey, Ageha! Oh, Aoi, hang on. I'll soon be finished. Ageha waves through a gap in the wall of girls surrounding her. Hey, Aoi. She said it would just be a little while longer. Oh, well then, let's go on ahead. Uh-oh. But she asked us to wait for her. We'll see her over there anyway, so it's fine, isn't it? Ah, yes! Yes, the first decision. We're gonna go ahead with Kotori. What? That doesn't make sense. I did choose let's go on ahead with Kotori, right? Anyway, I'll just hang on for now. Oh, well then. I'm going on ahead. Kotori said it with a composed face and really did go on ahead. Oh. Still, I don't like that, right? Like, I made the choice, right? I should have saved. But anyway, I feel like I said I was gonna go with Kotori. It can't be helped, so I give Ageha a quick shout before chasing after Kotori. We can wait for a little while, can't we? So why don't you? Are you really that against going with Ageha? Without realizing, I sound anxious as I ask. I'm not against it, but I feel kind of nervous. Or should I say I feel awkward? I just can't stand it. Nope. It always felt like Kotori had trouble knowing how to be around Ageha. You always act tough, but really you're a bag of nerves. Stop analyzing me. Yeah. She always puts up a front and is wary of strangers. This also affected her in that way when she came to this school. She never got used to being a part of the class. If you want to go together with her that much, then why don't you do that? I can go by myself. There's an elevator too. That's not what I'm saying. Stop crying. I'm not crying. Really? That's good. Sniff. Aoi, you think I'm a crybaby, don't you? No, I don't. You're so annoying. I've annoyed her. Kotori stops moving her wheelchair. Is she tired? You want me to push you? Kotori shook her head. I really want to get along with her, but I don't know how. And maybe she already hates me. Huh? Why do you think that? I said such nasty things to her and also have a bad attitude. If you realize that you have a bad attitude, why don't you do something about it? Hey, what do you think? She hates me, doesn't she? She wishes I were dead, doesn't she? No, she doesn't. I simply stated that for the time being. How can you be so sure? I've known her for a long time, so I know that much about her. Perhaps. She's so paranoid. Kotori puts her hand on her chin and starts thinking. How can I get along better with her? Well, for example. Yes. Before going to club activities, if she says wait for me, why not wait for her? But she didn't say that to me. Because I'm the one who called out to her. Shall we go back to the classroom? No, it's fine. If I went back now, I'd be embarrassed. She really did sound embarrassed as she spoke, then moved off in her wheelchair. Sure, I'm worried about the delicate situation between the two of them, but there's no need to rush things. Things like this take time. Friendship is something that grows slowly. If there's anything I can do to help, then I will. Yeah, I don't like decisions where they're like roundabout. So we made the choice to go with Kotori, but they had us get there in a very roundabout way where it still felt like we were choosing Ageha, right? Like we were trying to basically give Kotori an opportunity to wait for Ageha. Like, that just doesn't feel like we actually made a choice. It takes the power out of our hands. Where maybe what actually happened was what the choice suggested, but again, in a way that kind of deprives us of our apparent agency. And that happens more than you would think in a visual novel, and it's annoying every time it happens. I just gotta say. How are we going to do the flight training? Once all of us second graders had gathered, I asked Amane. Amane has been playing around with a bundle of tangled PC cables, and we can only see her from the other side of the desk. By flying. Flying? I imagined it would be something like doing weight training to build physical strength. But I still can't fly, can I? There's no way we can fly using those broken wings. Could you move those boxes that are over there by the wall? As requested, I tidy away the boxes piled up against the wall of the garage. Whoa, there are piles of things, but I don't even know what they are. Since before Amane and the others started coming here, this garage has had many mysterious boxes and antique parts left inside. What's this? Why are a sword and spear in a place like this? Good question. There are some nunchucks over here. There's a broken toy gun, too. Of course, the sword and the spear are well-made replicas. As for the other things, if I had brought them, I would think, why the hell did I buy this? And would definitely regret buying them, and there are many things that look like souvenirs that were bought on school-leaving trips. I could easily tell that the members of long ago made this garage their own. Finished. Okay, turn off the lights. As the lights were turned off, the inside of the garage became pitch black. Amane was operating some kind of machine. Then on the wall, where all the boxes were before, a PC screen appears. It's a projector. Like in a movie theater? Are we going to watch an instructional video? Aoi, could you come over here? Sitting down in the chair that Amane had prepared, I was handed a computer game controller. Oh, it's a flight simulator. What are we doing? Like I said, you're going to fly. This is a flight simulator. Actually, my dad worked for a company when I was a kid, and me and my brother, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, me and my brother would have to go there like all the time on the weekends because I guess my dad was trying to give our mom a break. Identical twins, we were kind of a handful, but he would take us, he would go to work on the weekends and he would take us and he would actually like work. And there were other people there, like not a lot of people, but there were other people there, which is kind of wild. This was out in nowhere, Ohio. And but they were a stereoscopic projector company. So one of the big things that they did was this like state of the art flight simulator. And we didn't get to play with it much, but you know, when we did, it was like fucking cool. So I mean, I'm sure this is nowhere near because they're using a game controller, but still, flight simulators are like fucking cool. Flight simulator? I've heard of them, but I'm not exactly sure what they are. It's like a computer game. It simulates the experience of flying. Even if you don't actually fly, you can, to some extent, learn the controls and the feeling of flying a glider. I don't really understand, but it sounds pretty good. Is this commercially available? No, I made it myself. Whoa, impressive. This is the topography of Kazegara and is a simulator specifically for our glider. At Amane's command, the screen changes. The town of Kazegara that we all know, shown as a landscape as viewed from the air, is projected on the wall. This is shown in pretty CG that is at least on the level of the cutscenes of RPGs on the latest consoles. Okay, she really is amazing. Ageha mumbles while looking at the screen being projected. This was updated with the latest data yesterday. You should be able to get a very realistic sense of flying. Okay. I show that I am impressed with Abane's amazing work and get myself fired up. Well then, let's begin. A glider modeled in CG appears on the screen. Before you learn the controls, I'll explain the movements of the glider. The glider's movements can be explained as rotation on 3 axes: longitudinal, lateral, and vertical. First is rolling. Do a barrel roll! On the screen, the longitudinal axis that runs along the lengths of the fuselage and the movement based on rotation on that axis were displayed. This movement is called rolling. Next is pitching. This time, the lateral axis coming out sideways from the fuselage and the movement based on rotation on the axis were shown. This movement raises and lowers the nose and is known as pitching. Then finally is yawing. Going through the fuselage vertically was the vertical axis, and the movement based on rotation along this axis was displayed. This movement, yawing, moves the nose left and right. These are the 3 basic movements of the glider. Do you understand? Yes, I think so. No matter how complex the maneuvers made by the glider are, the truth is they are all combinations of these 3 movements. That's why the pilot only needs to know how to operate these 3 movements. I see, so the basics are quite simple then. Kotori and Ageha are listening to the conversation and nodding along. Okay, with that in mind, let's try actually operating it. Amane selects the mode on the PC and the screen changes again. The sky and the horizon are projected across the wall. Is this the view from the cockpit? Yes, that's right. Wow, so this is what it looks like. The glider is already flying through the air because I'm used to video games, this feels incredibly slow. It doesn't really feel like it's moving forward at all. Except for takeoff and landing and some other special cases, there are 2 things you need to control: the yoke and the rudder pedal. I've seen the cockpit many times, so I know about that. The yoke is a stick that comes out from between the pilot's legs. I've seen some scenes in movies where pilots are flying fighter planes and the yoke is the thing that they're holding on to. It has a button on it, and if you push it, it launches missiles. Of course, the glider doesn't have anything like that. It's like the steering wheel in a car. Then there are the left and right rudder pedals, one of each, and are operated by pushing them with your feet. The controller corresponds to each one. The left analog stick is the yoke, the L and R buttons are the rudder pedals. I try the analog stick and the L and R buttons on the gamepad. Whoa! It's a little slow, but the field of vision in the center of the screen swings round. Whoa! If you get careless, it will stall and fall to the ground, so watch out. Oh, okay. First is the yoke. This controls 2 of the 3 movements that I explained just now, rolling and pitching. If you move it left and right, the fuselage will roll in that direction. I move the analog stick, in other words the yoke, slowly to the left. It's a little slow, but the aircraft responds. The horizon in the middle of the screen leans to the right. What makes the aircraft lean when you move the yoke? Good question. That is because the yoke controls the ailerons. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ailerons. It's like Coterie has a big question mark on her face as she hears that unfamiliar word. You and me both. They are wings fitted to the main wings. They're attached to the outside rear of the main wings, and if you move the yoke left, the left wing's aileron is raised and the right wing's aileron is lowered. Then what happens? When that happens, the lift on the left wing is reduced, while the lift on the right wing is increased. And the aircraft banks, in other words, leans by rotating to the left. Leaning and turning, huh? It's the same as a bicycle. A bicycle has a handlebar, but you don't turn by moving it left and right, you turn by leaning the bike. There is one more movement that can be made with the yoke, and that is pitching. Pitching is, in short, moving the nose up and down. If you pull the yoke back, the nose goes up, and pushing it forward makes it go down. I tried pushing the yoke forward. Whoa! The screen moves and the percentage of the screen filled with the ground increases. The aircraft points downward and I feel a much greater sense of speed. By pointing the nose down, the aircraft drops, but the speed also increases. I see. I imagine it sliding down on the air. This time I tried pulling the yoke back. I was no longer able to see the horizon. It felt like I was floating, and I realized the speed was dropping. How is this controlled? With the ailerons you told us about just now? No, it isn't. Before we did experiments with paper airplanes, didn't we? The thing that controls the up and down movements of the aircraft is... When Coterie was playing around with the tails on the paper planes, she made one do a beautiful loop-de-loop. Oh, the horizontal tail plane! Amane nods her head as if to say, well done. Pitching, in other words, the up and down movements, are controlled with a rudder called an elevator attached to the horizontal tail plane. We've heard of an elevator before, of course, but this was different to the type that goes up and down in buildings. Usually raising the nose increases lift. In other words, the aircraft will rise. However, if it is raised too much, it will lose lift instead. The airflow will no longer be able to move along the wings and it will break away. This phenomenon is known as a stall. I don't need to explain what happens if you lose lift. You can't fly if there's no lift, and it will inevitably fall. If that happens, is there nothing to do but fall? No, it's possible to straighten it out. A stall can occur at any time, so it's necessary to undergo stall recovery training. Okay. When it is suggested that falling is a possibility, I find it hard to breathe. You're just realizing this now? When you're flying through the air, even a tiny mistake can cost you your life. Shall we try dropping? Huh? Amane pulls back hard on the analog stick. The nose points further and further upwards, and then... It has exceeded the critical angle. It's stalled. Ah! The aircraft stopped moving, as if it was floating. Then the next moment, the screen started spinning like crazy as it began hurtling toward the ground. I love the game over song. That's so classic. It said game over. Well, that's what it's like. In training, stalls and spins are caused on purpose, then recoveries are practiced. Actually, doing that in the air is really scary. You'll think that you are going to die. Yeah, no shit. If you're scared of heights, maybe that really is true. Because of how well the simulation is made, I got a powerful enough impression just from the graphics. Amane selects the mode, and once again, we start flying. Okay, next is the rudder pedal. In the simulation, this is controlled with the L and R buttons. These operate the rudder, which is also known as the directional rudder. It is attached to the vertical tailplane. If you press the right pedal, it moves right. If you push to the left pedal, it moves left. This controls yawing. This turns it sideways, but when you turn, you use the ailerons on the wings, right? If you just use the ailerons, the aircraft still faces forward and moves like it's slipping along the side it banks on. What does that mean? If it's still facing forward, it would move diagonally, wouldn't it? Amane nods. By operating the rudder at the same time, you can turn the nose in the direction you want to face. Like the handlebars on a bicycle. While leaning the bike, you turn the handlebars in that direction. If you don't, you won't be able to turn well. Using bicycles as an example, leading the bike left or right is like the ailerons, and the handlebars are like the rudder. I see. When you want to turn, you must use the ailerons and the rudder. That's right. However, that alone is not enough. When turning, leaning the aircraft causes a drop in the lift, and the aircraft will drop down quite a bit. To keep as much speed as possible when turning, you need to move the yoke sideways and also back a little. When you turn, you must use all of the axes at the same time. Using what and when looks like it's quite intuitive. That's all. Those are the only controls you need when flying. After ending her explanation, Amane turned on the lights. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Yeah, it is. When I heard unfamiliar words like aileron and rudder, it sounded complicated. But once I tried it, it was quite easy. Moving the yoke backward, forward, left and right, and pressing the left and right pedals. That's all there is to it. As long as you don't try any aerial acrobatics, there are almost no difficult controls. The thing you need to ride the glider is the power to find the wind. Find the wind? Where and what kind of wind is blowing, where the vertical drafts are. Finding the wind like that determines whether you can fly it well or not. So you mean you need knowledge, experience, and intuition. Yeah, that's correct. For you to learn how to read the instruments first, you have to get used to them. Next, you can practice by looking at the computer screen. Okay, got it. I sat down in front of the PC and started practicing immediately. Okay, friends, well, this is a good stopping point. So we're gonna stop here and we're gonna pick up next time. As always, leave a like if you like, dislike if you don't. Comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do. But I'm hopping off, and we'll be back with more If My Heart Had Wings in the next one. Peace!